What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and I'm going to show you a chart of a stock that's pumping up massively. It's up over 300%, and then I'm going to show you a picture that's going to perfectly explain why that stock is pumping up massively. Half of you are going to understand, half of you are going to need a further explanation, which I'll give. And you can see the chart right here, right? This stock is pumping up pretty massively. Ticker symbol RDBX. You can see that today it's hitting highs of $9.97. It's up almost to $10 per share at the moment, right? 8.72. It's fallen away a little bit since it hit the highs, but it is up about almost over the past 10 days, just about 321% right there. You can see that we've gotten on this stock so far. Now, you're going to understand exactly why this stock is pumping up when I show you this picture right here, okay? This is the company that this stock belongs to, right? Redbox stock, ticker symbol RDBX, Redbox. It is pumping up massively, and it's doing it entirely because of two reasons, right? Short squeeze hype, but also because it is a meme stock, and it is currently, stock price-wise, beating out the company that has, in the past, destroyed it, Netflix. You can see the chart for Netflix right here, and Netflix is getting absolutely pummeled. This has led, in my opinion, a lot of investors to start turning to Redbox as a meme stock to kind of stick it to Amazon, right? Or not Amazon, Netflix. Amazon's getting crushed too, but Netflix is the one that's more directly related to Redbox stock, right? You can see Netflix over the past couple of months has been absolutely demolished. From highs of $700, it's now below $200 per share, and it's fallen percentage-wise about 75%, if I'm not mistaken. 72% is what we've seen on the downside for Netflix stock from the highs to where it's currently at. So it's fallen absolutely massively. And it's funny because Netflix is the company that really kind of put Redbox out of business, right? It's the company that people all started using instead of Redbox. I remember I used to use Redbox all the time. Redbox actually kind of put Blockbuster out of business, not entirely, right? Netflix really destroyed both of them at the same time, but Redbox was certainly my favorite at the time, as opposed to Blockbuster when Netflix really came around and made it not make as much sense to use either of those services, right? So it's funny to see that now that Netflix stock is getting crushed, people have started turning to Redbox as a meme stock. It's very, very funny stuff to see, and it's kind of amusing, right? In the sense that, you know, people are really coming back into the market. They're starting to make these moves. They're starting to put money where they find things to be comical again, right? And it's something that's needed in this market because if you look at the S&P, things have not been looking so good, right? Stock market has not been doing too well as of late. But Netflix and Redbox are making a very interesting, not a pattern, but a very interesting situation develop, right? I'm very curious to see how this plays out, how high Redbox can go. We're going to talk a little bit about that because Redbox obviously has some stuff going for it. First of all, a ton of people are now looking into this stock, right? Today is the first day that this stock is really majorly grabbing people's attention on Google Trends. You can see a ton more people have been looking into this stock than have been over the past week, even though it has been pumping up for the past couple of days, right? You can see Redbox will pull up the 10-day chart. You can see it has been pumping up for a couple of days, right? It was up over 200%. Almost 300% on Friday, and today it's just getting so much more attention. It's up at $10 per share, and you can see that a lot more people are now looking into this stock. Now, whether it will become a huge meme stock like AMC did in the past, who knows, right? This is potentially just the beginning, or it's potentially the end of what's going to be going on with Redbox stock, right? There's no guarantee that it's going to move past $10 ever, right? It did just bounce off of it earlier today. 10 is a strong psychological resistance for a lot of traders and investors. And if it can't get past 10, then this doesn't have much life to it probably, right? We'll see what can happen throughout the course of the rest of the day, right? We're still sticking close to 10. There's a possibility that we can move up above that. And we'll see. It really depends on how many more people hear about this, how many more people end up getting into it. You can see that currently it is the #1 top trending stock on StockTwits, right? It's the #1 top trending stock and the #2 most active stock behind SPY on StockTwits. So that's something right there. It's not really too present on Ape Wisdom, which is tracking the top stocks on Reddit. You can see Netflix, though. Netflix is up here at number 15. A lot of people are talking about that just because of how far down it's moved. But Redbox is not yet up here. And part of the reason why is because it is currently a very small market cap, right? $75 million market cap. only 12 million shares outstanding, and a very, very small float, 2.77 million share float. And the short interest really shows you what's going on with institutions, right? Institutions don't like this one too much. They've got 51% of the free float being short. Now, since the free float is so small, that only amounts to 1.42 million shares. But it's very interesting to see that a lot of institutions have been shorting this pretty heavily. Not just recently, right? Obviously, we've seen a big spike recently, but it's always had a relatively high short interest, right? For the past many, many months, we've seen quite a few shorts in Redbox stock, and it makes sense, right? Redbox, if you actually look at the long-term chart, up until this moment, was kind of a dying company. And, I would have agreed it's probably not a great company to be investing in, considering this is what they do, right? I don't know too many people who are still using these Redbox machines now that there are so many video streaming options. So over the long term, as a fundamental investment, probably not the best idea. It makes some sense to see that institutions are shorting this thing. But it is interesting to see that now that it's pumping up, there's some potential to squeeze some of these shorts out. It's going to take quite a big increase in price to actually do that, though. The reason being, there's only 1.42 million shares short, right, as estimated by Ortex. And if you actually do the math on that, you multiply it out to how many shares or how many dollars are short, right? If there's 1.42 million shares and this thing is trading at $9, that means there's maybe a $14 or $15 million short position out on this thing across everybody. Everybody who's shorting it has about 15 million bucks total, right? If you add them all together. And 15 million bucks is probably not going to short squeeze institutions. If you actually think about that, institutions have quite a bit of money. It's going to take a much bigger amount of money to get them margin called and to get them to actually cover their positions. So this thing would have to rise quite a bit. It would have to multiply in price quite a few times before institutions really get short squeezed out of it, assuming that the institutions have pretty big accounts, right? Assuming it's not a small institution, maybe some individual investors, if they were happening to short this thing, those people could be getting squeezed out if this thing increases in value a couple of times, as it already has, right? I'm sure some shorts are having to get squeezed out at these prices, but the majority of them, it looks like we're just are piling on more shares short, right? They're looking at this like it's an opportunity to sell shares of the stock while it's pumped up. They're expecting that it's going to move down. That's entirely possible. That's very possible that this stock doesn't actually catch as much traction as other stocks like AMC have in the past, right? There's no guarantee that we're going to move from $8 to $70 like we did with AMC. It's possible. Redbox, it's a big company in the sense that a lot of people have heard of it and have used their services, right? I mean, pretty much everyone, as far as I'm aware of, has heard of one of these Redbox things, right? They've seen these Redbox things around, similar to how many people have seen movie theaters, right? These seem pretty darn common. You see them outside of drugstores, you see them in supermarkets. Pretty much everyone has seen these. If it does catch a lot of traction, then there's a lot of potential for this thing to move up in the future. That's not a guarantee, though, right? That's something we're going to have to watch out for. If this thing can hold past $10, that's what I would really be watching out for. If we can hold past that, it's a strong psychological level. This is a very risky one, I will say, though, right? There's no guarantee that that's going to happen. I'm not making any recommendations, no financial advice here. I'm just letting you guys know my opinion on it, and just letting you guys know a kind of amusing thing that I've noticed in the market, right? Netflix getting pummeled, and Redbox is actually coming to the rescue, saving a lot of investors' accounts. Anyone who was in Redbox, congratulations. You made quite a bit of money up until this point. We'll see if you make even more. Hopefully you do, right? I have high hopes for this. I'm personally not buying any of it, though. It's already run up quite a bit. It's just an amusing situation I thought I would bring to you guys for anyone who is interested. So other than that, guys, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and keep in mind, none of this is financial advice. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.